In today's video, we go about upgrading our brakes on our Mark 7 GTI. Up to this point, we've spent all the time making it faster. Now we're going to make it stop faster. I ran into an issue recently where when I'm driving through the hills, having fun with the car, driving it kind of hard, the brakes start to pulsate, the rotors are getting hot, they warp, and then when I daily drive it, you're coming up to a stoplight and then they pulsate a little bit all the way till you stop. That means our rotors are pretty much not ruined, but they don't work smoothly, and we want to upgrade them. So I got some drilled and slotted rotors and some new ceramic brake pads from ECS Tuning. Down in the description, I have it linked for performance package and non-performance package. Very organized, so you guys know exactly what to order after this. It is important, you do have bigger rotor size, and I'm pretty sure the brake pads are a different size because the Golf R and the Performance Pack GTIs have the bigger calipers, so then your brake pads are going to be bigger, obviously. We're going to walk you through how to install it, how to get it done so that you guys have confidence going into the garage. Karma Speed is all about building confidence in the garage, so if you like that idea, hit the subscribe button. Check out karmaspeed.com. We have the new Volkswagen T. I think all of you guys here watching will really like the design, so if you want to show your love for this channel, you want to see more videos to come on more cars and more things on the GTI, check out karmaspeed.com, pick up the Volkswagen shirt. I did send it on the big turbo, not because I wanted to, because that's what the people want to see, that's what you guys want to see. I was just going to move on to the next car, but I just threw down. I was like, the boys are going to get me, they're going to like the shirts, they're going to buy them, we're going to have enough budget, we're going to go big turbo. So we have that coming in the mail to look forward to. I think that'll be the big shebang, and we have a P3 gauge coming up install. So I'm excited. The GTI is almost done, but we have the almost coolest things at the end, and we're gonna make this thing absolutely rip. We're out here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's about 100 and something degrees, and it just rained like crazy thunderstorms, so we're sweating, it's hot, we're gonna get after it. Randall's got his headband on, so you know it's serious, but let's dive into the install, check out the brakes, and have a good time and see what these brakes feel like. How you living today?
Hot.
You got the headband on, you know it's serious.
We got the headband on. It's a toasty one out here today. The humidity won't let loose here in Phoenix. Seems like the wettest summer that I can remember, but we're getting through it. We're almost done with it. That's all I can say. And I'm ready.
How did this come off? Was this super rusted on or not bad?
Just a little bit. It wasn't nothing crazy. If you got a decent sized hammer, you just whack it.
If you plan on saving those, don't whack them with a hammer. What is this? This is to break it loose?
This is what holds it on to the
hub.
the hub.
We're gonna knock this side out completely together, and then we'll show you the process on the driver's side. The one sole reason you want to order from ECS and order their entire package is because they make it easy for you. They offer you a nice brake pad option, the rotors that look nice, even for us base model guys. There is an option I'll leave in the description where there's a two-piece rotor setup for the Performance Pack or Golf R. Looks so sick. Like, I really want to do two-piece. If you don't know what that is, check it out in the description. It looks so rad, worth the money. It makes any nice wheel look even nicer with that rotor behind it. It's one of those things that as a beginner car guy, you don't know what they are, but you're just like, why does their setup look nicer? It's sometimes because simply they have a two-piece rotor setup. But also they include all the bolts, OEM bolts that you need for this entire job, because I believe the bolts on this car, they stretch when you torque them down to a certain spec, so you want to have brand new ones in there so that they're safe, nothing comes undone, and you'll be all good to go. And of course they include brake lube, so we don't have any squeaking, which you're gonna have squeaking with a brake setup like this, but minimal. Normally we would be filming inside, but as you can see, we have an inflatable paint booth inside, and we're painting the Impreza parts. So look out for that. That's gonna be a crazy video. All right, let's run it.
Step one, to remove your rotors, you first want to remove this little screw here. You don't have to do this first, however, this is the way I'm doing it. This is a T30 Torx bit.
The kit comes with a new screw for right there, and it's actually a Phillips head, so you'd use a screwdriver, not a ratchet or any socket or anything like that. So make sure you look for that new screw that comes in the kit.
Next, right behind the actual caliper itself that's bolted to the caliper bracket, there's a little nut back here. When you go to loosen this 13mm bolt back here, typically these start to spin. So what I go ahead and do, since my wrench is too thick to fit behind here, I have a little piece of, or not a little piece, but a skinny set of vice grips, so I can hold on to that while I loosen the bolt itself. I'll go ahead and put this back in here, just because whenever we go and loosen the bottom one, we don't want this caliper to swing on out on us. So as you see here, this whole piece wants to swing out, so if you just thread that in a little bit, it won't move. We're going to be replacing these bolts as well, so make sure you throw these away. To remove this caliper bracket, we have a 21mm socket. Pull the pads out like so. One thing you want to make sure to do while you have this caliper bracket on is make sure you lube up these guide pins. As you see here, this one's stuck down in that. It doesn't really retract. It retracts a little bit. It's not completely seized up. If you want to go ahead and take some brake caliper grease in the kit, it does come with these little packets. But since I have this, I'm just going to go ahead and use this, but this works just as good. What you want to do is just pull this off like so. If these look really nasty to you, just take a rag and wipe them off. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of grease on there. And as I put it in, I'm going to spin it just to get that grease worked evenly. And then you want to seat that rubber boot right around the caliper bracket itself. So some of you guys back east might have these things welded on with rust, but thankfully out here it's not too bad. So if you can't pull it off, don't use a hammer if you're going to be reusing these rotors. But since we're not, we're just going to go ahead and whack it, which will break it free. Just like that. If it was super rusted on there, on this hub, sometimes you might have to take a torch and heat this up, or even worst case, break out the big oxyacetylene torch and really get it heated up. But that's worst case. Sometimes you can get some penetrating oil in there, but if you're having that hard of a time removing it, you probably should replace it and just beat the crap out of it with the hammer. New caliper bracket bolts. These get torqued down to 200 Newton meters. Before you install these, you want to remove any oil from this that they use during manufacturing and shipping to prevent this surface from rusting. So you want to remove all that with some brake cleaner. That's what we got here. So if you see all that black dirt coming off, take a rag, just kind of wipe it off. So line this little bolt hole up with the actual hub right here. That's where that little set screw is going to go. Like so.
Don't forget you got an L for left, and that's in regards to if you're sitting in the driver's seat left and right.
So now once we got this rotor on here, we'll go ahead and bolt the caliper bracket back on.
If you've made it this far, you're probably thinking about you need the tools to do it if you don't have them already. Down in the description, we have a list on Amazon for some affordable tools, ratchets, sockets, you name it. Randall's always got the snap-on stuff because this is what he did for a living before he came and helped me with the channels. So this is the top of the line stuff. Don't feel any pressure. I have a bunch of my own stuff. That's all from Amazon and things like that. And actually, Randall's primary sockets are all from Amazon. So don't feel any pressure, but check out that link in the description. Pick up some tools. That way you can go out there and get after it.
Torque these down to 200 Newton meters.
What is that contraption?
So this is a caliper piston compressor. There are a few different styles of these out there. I got this specific one from Amazon and it was about 20 bucks and it works perfectly fine for me.
I've never seen that. We will add that to the list. Oh, it's like a ratchet?
I'm honestly not a fan of it. It does work, I like the squeeze style a little better, especially if you're doing this as a mechanic. This is a lot slower than your little squeeze deal, but like I said, it does work. It works perfectly fine. Right here we got our new brake pads. As you can see, we got a good little texture on there. Go ahead and compare the old ones. So the old ones really weren't too bad. These new ones should improve the braking quite a bit. Some models of cars, you'll want to grease this little pin here, but since Audi does not do it, or I should say Volkswagen, Audi, same thing, does not do it from the factory, we're not going to do it either.
And he's talking about right where the top of the brake pad fits into that little spot in the bottom.
Boom. I have our 2 new Caliper bolts. These get torqued down to 35 Newton meters.
.35 Newton meters is not much at all, in case you're wondering. You'll be quite surprised how not hard you have to tighten this thing.
You can actually
compare it.
So in foot pounds, 35 Newton meters is 25.8 foot pounds.
It's not much. One thing to keep in mind that this whole piece of the rotor is that silver color. This looks pretty good quality. This is not going to rust anytime soon. Most cars, they do rust right away. But you can see this center part is coated black. This won't rust. This will look good for a long time. You might go out and look at your car. You'll notice the base of your rotors are rusty, and that actually takes away from the final look of your car being clean a lot more than you think. Is there anything different on the back?
You have so the e-brake is controlled by a cable, which some cars, your e-brake will be actuated from one side and the cable will be split to the other side. However, that cable tees off in the middle and goes to actually both calipers, which is a lot more of an efficient design.
Oh yeah, you got some different tools. You got an open and wrench, a couple other little things.
So your caliper bracket bolts themselves are held on by one of these M14 style Torx bits. These fasteners you're going to see in any German car, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, you name it. You're going to see a lot of these styles. So if you own one of these cars or an Audi or a Mercedes, it's a good idea to pick some of these up. We have a link in the Amazon description below.
That lift life, this is what I'm talking about, these angles though. What's going on right now? Same thing as the front?
Yep, same thing as the front. You're just removing the caliper from the caliper bracket, just like so. You just want to let that hang there. And for these rear calipers, you can't use the traditional style brake compression tool. You actually have to use a special set of these brake tools here. So essentially what's happening is, in order for this piston to go inside, it has to be spun and twisted at the same time, or twisted and pushed in at the same time. So if you see right here, you have these 2 little grooves, and then on the tool here, these little deals right here slip right into there.
It comes in a big set like this. If you need this tool and you don't want to buy it, I have a link in the description, obviously, in the Amazon list. Super powerful. But if you don't want to buy it, save some money, go to O'Reilly Auto Parts and rent it from them. Let them know at the counter you need this tool, and they'll take care of you. Cost you no money. If you live in Phoenix or anywhere with the AJ's Fine Foods, you walk up to the little counter in there and you get a passion fruit tea, 2 Splenda. Oof. What are you saying over there?
The brake pads were like brand new, so there was no really any wear on them, so that's why that little piston didn't need to be pushed in at all.
And the reason that is because the rear brakes on a car like this almost do nothing really. The front does all the work for you, hence why they're smaller. Brake pad wear is a lot less. It is nice that we have disc brakes in the rear still. Any older vehicle, truck, etc. have drum brakes. Trash to replace, literally the worst install. How do you feel about drum brake pad installs?
We won't talk about those. Nightmare. They're not really too bad, but there's too many springs and stuff goes flying.
They're always rusted on.
Sometimes say a lot of bad words when you're working on them. Some people that have changed them before will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Are you removing the caliper bracket?
Yes.
Can we get a like on this video down below because it's over 100 degrees with a lot of humidity? I mean, look at Randall.
I sweat like a beast. Even if it's like 70 degrees, I'm gonna be the only guy in the crowd with a just drenched shirt.
Don't be like me and throw away bolts. Make sure you get them all out.
If you don't know about the Crocs, let me put you on them. Best things on demand. These have been my daily drivers for the last, like,
Since
month.
you got them.
Yeah.
You've been wearing them.
I bought these.
Miles on them. Look
I
at them.
bought these when I went to Disneyland. I had some Nike free runs that were blown out. My feet were screaming. Went to Walmart, spent a solid $9 on these bad boys, and best things I've ever done.
What color are you getting next?
I don't know.
You like the white?
I don't mind it, yeah. Maybe get some black ones.
I freak with the white.
Yeah.
Keep it clean.
Yep. Tightening down the caliper bracket bolts here.
What are you doing here?
Torquing down the caliper bracket.
Let's do a little Randall's Pro Tool Tech tip. I've never even seen these. Gotta talk about this.
It's a crow's foot. So what these do, essentially you have like a wrench, your standard wrench, to where obviously you can get in tighter places. With this specific application, I can't get this socket back here with the torque wrench itself. So
we can get this wrench into it though.
yes.
So instead of this wrench, which you will probably use, you're a baller.
You got a crow's foot, which will get back in here in these tight places to allow you to still torque it down.
Let me see that thing up close, disconnect it. So Randall has a full kit of these of different sizes. There you have it. That's a tool, our first Randall's Tool Tech tip.
So we'll take our teeny brake pads off of our 125cc dirt bike right here.
Hey, don't make fun of us car guys. I know you're a big diesel guy. Okay, you don't gotta make fun of it.
Hey,
we get it. You got big brakes.
diesel world, we don't run these. We don't need those where we're going.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
You got drum?
No,
What do you got in the back of that thing?
air brakes.
Air brakes?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it is. Like I didn't know that.
I got these in mine. Just a little bigger, but
Do you have a disc in the back of the Ram?
Yeah, I got disc.
Random fact, the disc brake was invented long before becoming popular. William Lanchester patented the disc brake in 1902. Did you know that?
I didn't.
That's pretty neat.
I did not know that.
1902, dude?
That was a good year.
You were there?
I wasn't there, but I was there in some form.
You heard about it?
I did now.
See this right here? This is an Amazon special. I ain't no Snap-on. Randall just took off. I'm gonna make sure we torque our wheels down. I'm gonna do 96 foot-pounds. I know that's not spec, but that's just kind of what I'm comfortable with. I've had quite a few times on different cars where lug nuts have come loose, and I like to just make sure it's on pretty tight. I torque my wheels down to around 100 foot-pounds, give or take. All my lug nuts or wheel bolts, whatever they may be. I know it's not like spec, but I just like to make sure they're like snug, tight, no matter what the car is. I've done specs in the past where they vibrated loose over time, and I've just had some things that are kind of sketchy. So to make sure they're all even, star pattern, snug, tight. That's just my take. Randall's very spec, which is proper, but I've had stuff vibrate loose that shouldn't vibrate loose and almost have a wheel fall off when I followed specs. So maybe that was my fault. I don't know, just the whole thing kind of freaks me out a little bit. Ready to rock? These will be restocked soon, CarmaSpeed.com. You're gonna want to press the brake pedal, get it firm before we start it. Still have the stock cap back on. I need to put the Unitronic cap back on because I'm tired of being quiet. Whoa, they're sensitive now. Holy. Leaving the house, we're gonna bed the brake pads. To do that, basically there's a bunch of different ways you can technically do it. It's not something you should freak out about, but we're gonna go like 35 miles an hour. I'm coming up to a stop sign. I'm Just gonna brake pretty moderately, come to a stop, do that 2 or 3 times, then I'll go to about 50 miles an hour and then press on the brakes pretty hard down to like 5 miles an hour. Just kind of the stop sign. Just gonna brake nice. I can hear them outside. They're a little louder. Get up to about 35. Brake moderately. Let's do that again. Oh, I smell it. Brake. Alright, now I'm gonna do the one where I'm going like 50 or 60 miles per hour. I'm gonna do that at the stoplight up here so I don't make a scene. Alright, here we go. There's a cop. I'm gonna do that a couple more times, and then we'll be good. I will be posting a follow-up video on if these are worth the money, how they dissipate heat out in the hills when we're driving, if that's better. I will let you guys know in a follow-up video. We'll get some nice beauty shots of these wheels rolling with these nice new rotors behind them. I'm stoked on the new look. Check out CarmaSpeed.com. Go grab your new Volkswagen shirt. I know you guys will really like it. I hope you guys can come through with the support. Like I said, we do have the big turbo. I want to give the people what they want to see, so I got you guys back. And we'll be doing a boost gauge and all sorts of multiple other gauges we can do, so it's going to be like an air vent. It's going to be really sick, so look out for those 2 episodes. Then we'll be wrapping up the GTI series, unfortunately, but you guys are going to like what we're going to get next. Did a poll on my Instagram and it was like super obvious what car we should get next, so mainly it's like borderline what I can afford, so hopefully I can find one in the price range that works, and then we'll get straight to it. But I have a car in between there that we're gonna do a quick build on that I don't think you guys are gonna see coming, that my friend got. So I'm really pumped on that. I'm really excited for everything to come. Don't forget about the Subaru painting video. That's gonna be like a month's worth of work and a lot of money in one massive episode. That's gonna be super awesome. So we're putting a ton of effort and time into that. Me and Randall are having a sanding party tomorrow where we're just doing 600 grit of the primer like all day tomorrow, make sure all the panels, everything's perfect. Then we'll lay the color and then the clear coat and go from there. So thanks guys so much for stopping by. CarmaSpeed.com if you want to support, and I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate your time and hope you have a good day, night, wherever you're at. Peace.